Part 59. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 581. The cultivators who were eliminated in the second round of the assessment accounted for most of them. Such a knockout rate made the cultivators who were lucky enough to be even more disappointed. The speculative mentality was unacceptable. The third level is to refine the medicinal pills specified by the pill hall. Once the medicinal pill name was announced, many cultivators gave birth to the heart of retreat, because the medicinal pills to be refined were high-level human-level pills. A group of players, including Su Chen, took the immortal grass and confidently walked into the pill room and started to make pills. Some people hesitated to do the same thing. They couldn't make pills before, maybe this time lucky to succeed. And for some loose cultivators, the pill hall also provided the complete pill recipe for the pill. Zhang Dashao and Shi Dashao were also watching the assessment in the crowd, and at the same time, the list of people who entered the third level assessment was also sent to the patriarchs of the four major families. They believed that such a good opportunity to get close to Alchemist Rui, would the alchemist who destroyed the arena be willing to give up? In their opinion, the elixir master they were looking for might be in the mix. Although Alchemist Rui's actions broke their plan, it also provided clues for them to find their targets. This third test can best show the level of an alchemist's alchemy skills. There are only 16 contestants left in this round of assessment. Among them, loose cultivators such as Su Chen, including him, only occupy 5 places, and the rest are from various families and Dantang. Gu Yao has confidence in Su Chen, but not too much confidence in the remaining 4 people. In this Donglan city, it is not easy to get the elixir recipe and complete pill technique. He and Su Chen can have for the current achievements, in addition to the pill technique jade slip obtained from the Shuiya fragment, I have to thank He Jiang, the star thief. The first person to come out of the pill was the elixir master from the pill hall. When he came out of the pill room, he found that he was the first person, and his face was full of pride. Gu Yao and Qi Changjai were also talking about others earlier. He was the son of the head of the pill hall, and the alchemy technique was one of the best in the pill hall, and everyone in the pill hall had high hopes for him. As soon as he came out, someone shouted excitedly. The pill hall master sitting on the main seat stroked his beard and straightened his waist when talking to others. His face showed a proud look, and he heard the compliments from others. At that time, he waved his hand in a humble attitude, where, the dog needs to work harder. If you can get a little guidance from Master Miao, it will be a blessing for this boy. In the eyes of him and others, this alchemist must have won one of the spots. There was also the sound of a blasting furnace in the alchemy room. Gu Yao didn't expect that this alchemy was not public alchemy, and the material used in the alchemy room was very special, so it was difficult for the divine sense to penetrate into it. I entered every pill room like a thief, not wanting to let go of knowing the level of the pill techniques of these elixir masters. Is there anyone who knows Su Chen's level better than him? So when you look at Su Chen's actions, you can see that he has deliberately slowed down, otherwise there will be a situation where that guy is the first to become a pill, and the earliest pill does not necessarily mean that the pill is the best. Suddenly, he realized that a divine sense stronger than him was swept towards his hidden direction. Gu Yao quickly withdrew, but he could not see any abnormality on his face, but he was guessing that the master of the divine sense was Master He or Chiao. City Lord? Or the people of the 4 major families? Master He Dan looked in the direction of the pill room, with a strange look in his eyes. City Lord Chiao asked, "What did you find?" Alchemist Rui said with a smile, "There is an unfamiliar divine sense that slips very fast. I wanted to test 1 or 2, but unfortunately I ran away." City Lord Chiao asked again, "According to Brother Rui's opinion, are those 2 elixir masters among them?" Alchemist Rui said cautiously, "It's hard to say, but the only one who meets the conditions is the blue shirt." Although the son of the hall master looked at his alchemy skills quite well, but after reading his manipulations, Alchemist Rui was not very impressed. With such aptitude, he needed as much in Piaoxiu Immortal Palace as he needed to be outstanding. After the first person came out of the pill, another person succeeded in refining it, and there was another person who blew out the furnace 3 times in a row, and Su Chen chose the middle position. At this time, everyone paid attention to him and not the first successful person. This is exactly what Su Chen needs. All the medicinal pills were delivered to the 2 monks who presided over the assessment. When they saw the medicinal pills made by Su Chen, they were slightly surprised, because at this time they received a voice transmission from Alchemist Rui, saying to keep this alchemist. This is the first person Rui alchemist took the initiative to leave. Let's look at this medicinal pill, but it seems that it is a very good result in Donglan City. Piaoxiu Immortal Palace is just so-so. At the end of the 3rd round of assessments, less than half of the alchemists were in Chengdan, and the last 2 presiding cultivators reported the selected alchemists: Zhou Donglan, the son of the Hall Master, Li Hongyi, daughter of the Li family, Feng Rumei, a loose cultivator, and Chen Su, a loose cultivator. When the names of the selected alchemists were reported, the cultivators present made a sensation. It can be said that half of the results were expected, and half of them were unexpected. It was completely unexpected that 2 loose cultivators would be selected. The eyes of the teacher and the disciples of the aristocratic family turned red with jealousy when they looked at Feng Rumei and Chen Su. But for many loose cultivators, it is a good thing. Loose cultivators do not only refer to ascension monks. There are also large-scale loose cultivators in Immortal Realm. In the past, Dantang was controlled by the 4 major families and other major forces. Most of the loose cultivators can't squeeze in. If you want to get in, you have to find a way to block a lot of immortal stones. Maybe there will be a chance. Look at how grandiose what Alchemist Rui is doing now. What unspoken rules are useless in the face of absolute strength. When Zhou Donglan heard his name being the first to be reported, he seemed to take it for granted. If he was not selected, no one in Donglan City would be able to be selected. It seems to be delusional. He was not surprised that Li Hongyi from the Li family was among them. Although Li Hongyi did not join Dantang, Zhou Donglan had heard of her reputation for Danchu, and she often came to Dantang to exchange ideas with them, which was recognized by Zhou Donglan. As for the remaining 2 names, he had never heard of them. Where did the ghosts come from? Suspiciously cast his eyes on the remaining 2 candidates. His eyes are full of doubts. Why are these 2 guys standing with him? When he heard other people talk about these 2 being from loose cultivators, Zhou Donglan's eyes filled with anger. If Dan Master Rui hadn't presided over the assessment, he would have turned the table on the spot. He was ashamed to be with these loose cultivators. Together. Li Hongyi just glanced at Feng Rumei and Chen Su blankly, and then looked away, as if whoever won was none of her business. Feng Rumei was very pleasantly surprised. She was an alchemist trained by the Ascension Cultivator Camp. She had tried to join the Alchemy Hall several times before, but she was always rejected. This time she just came to try, but she didn't expect to be selected. If she could get Rui the alchemist gave 1 or 2 pointers, and she felt that she would be dizzy with happiness. Anyone who knows her knows how much effort she has put into this, but because of the 4 major families, she is usually unknown, and she tries to reduce her sense of existence. This time, she is trying her best. While surprised, she looked at her colleague Chen Su, thinking that Chen Su would be as excited as she was, but the other party looked bored and did not take the selection too seriously, which surprised Feng Rumei. I don't accept it, someone jumped out, and this person was dressed in the alchemist costume of Dantang. Then Feng alchemist, it was clear that the 3rd pot was barely able to produce a low-grade pill. My pills are better than hers, and the 2nd pot is a pill. Why did I fail to select her but was selected? The presiding alchemist said coldly, don't you know the reason? You made the medicinal pill you handed over yourself? Make a fake, put it in the snow Immortal Palace, and throw it out in minutes. Everyone was shocked and looked at the protester. They saw that his face was pale and his eyes were dodging. As for the teacher, such an alchemist came from the alchemy hall. If the alchemy hall wanted to face it, he should be kicked out. I didn't hear people say, put it in Piaoxiu Immortal Palace, and throw it out in minutes. Suddenly someone in the crowd shouted, it should be thrown out. The top of the pill hall, who was sitting on the main seat, also blushed and stared at the guy who jumped out. However, this person was the son of the deputy hall master, and he was also a member of the Zheng family of the four major families. It's fun, does Dan Tang have the courage to kick this person out? Seeing that these high-level officials blushed and did not say anything about kicking this person out of the alchemy hall, the two alchemists who presided over the assessment flashed disdain in their eyes and announced that the assessment was over, and the four selected candidates joined him as guests. Hospital. Alchemist Rui found out about the replacement of the pills, and he was also amazed. City Lord Chiao was a little old-fashioned. The city owner also felt a little embarrassed. Su Chen glanced in the direction of Guyao and Qi Changjai, then left with Feng Rumei and the others. Guyao and Qi Changjai thought it was good to live in the guest house where Alchemist Rui was staying. Even if their identities were exposed, would the four major families dare to rush into Alchemist Rui's guest house to arrest someone? On the way back, Guyao said, actually, having the opportunity to go to Piaoxiu Immortal Palace is also a way out. When you arrive at Piaoxiu Immortal Palace, it is much easier to inquire about the situation in Immortal Realm than here. There is the whereabouts of the master. If he was alone, he might also consider this option, but now he doesn't want to be separated from Qi Changjai. Qi Changjai nodded and said, I think this guy may have made this idea. He didn't say it, and he was very worried about the master. The situation in Donglan City is so complicated. A place like the demon world will only be more chaotic. Fortunately, the master is not a good person to be bullied, and he will be killed sooner or later. On the way, they received a summons from Leng Su, and sure enough, Feng Rumei was their person. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 582. Although the assessment was over, many cultivators were unable to enter the pill hall to witness the scene that day, but they were very keen to talk about it. Zhou Donglan and Li Hongyi are well-known figures in the city, but who is Feng Rumei, especially Chen Su? Some cultivators can even pick out Feng Rumei's bottom, but Chen Su has no clue. However, the two loose cultivators were able to stand out and keep pace with geniuses like Zhou Donglan and Li Hongyi. It is worth talking about. It is the child of the Zheng family who cheated and was laughed at in private for a long time. Quite famous, but it turned out to be a fake. I don't know how many people in the alchemy hall don't match their real names. The halo on the head of the aristocratic family seems to be nothing more than that. Feng Rumei and Chen Su stand out and are very inspiring to the public. Maybe it will be their turn next time. Needless to say, this incident has also brought a cultivation craze. Zhang family. Could it be that Feng Rumei and Chen Su? The Zhang family leader frowned and said, Feng Rumei's strength is not enough, and she can barely reach the high-level human level, but Chen Su, people can't see the truth. It's a pity that they have entered Alchemist Rui's territory now, and we can't get in. I tried one or two, but fortunately Donglan also entered. Donglan will find a way to give them a try. As for the red leaves of the Li family, that girl was all focused on alchemy and had no interest in trivial matters. The reason why she was unwilling to join the alchemy hall was because she felt that the Dan hall was full of smoke and arrogance, and the head of the Li family was also happy with this girl's temperament. She has great expectations for her. If these four were taken away by Master Rui in the end, maybe they could achieve good results. It's a pity that no one in the Zhang family was selected. Thinking about it this way, the patriarch Zhang scolded the unelected children of the Zhang family again. Usually, they all seem very capable, but why can't they play a role at a critical time? If the family has children who enter the Piaoxiu Immortal Palace for development, they will have the power in the future. In the boundary of Donglan City, it is not up to them to have the final say, and there will no longer be the city lord pressing on them. Even if the ambition is bigger, it is not impossible for the Zhang family to control Donglan City alone. Gu Yao couldn't be completely assured of Su Chen's situation. After all, he didn't know what kind of person alchemist Rui was, but Su Chen seemed to be very comfortable there. What, saying that Zhou Donglan was looking for trouble with him, and he was scolded back, and how the girl Feng Rumei admired him so much that Gu Yao was dumbfounded. Compared with Feng Rumei, I don't know who is bigger and who is smaller. Su Chen's days over there seemed to be like a duck in water. After a month passed, Su Chen received the last news that they were going to retreat with alchemist Rui to make alchemy, so Gu Yao and Qi Changjai should be careful. Gu Yao sat in the yard and looked in the direction of the city lord's mansion, drinking the spirit wine brought from the spirit world. Although it was not beneficial to the current practice, the taste was not bad. Success, it may be a good thing for Donglan City and us to let City Lord Qiao break through smoothly. Yes, at present, the attitude of the City Lord Qiao seems to be swaying, and the four families are not necessarily on the same front. From the current point of view, Don Qi Miao does not seem to have much prejudice against the Ascension cultivator, otherwise Feng Rumei will not be selected. As long as there is no problem with alchemist Rui, Su Chen went there. Qi Changjai was very happy, he was finally able to get along with Gu Yao alone, and there was no longer a light bulb to obstruct the eyes. How happy, and the interest came up, drinking and dancing the sword, both seemed a little drunk. At this moment, Leng Su's message came. Gu Yao didn't want to see it, but he was worried about what happened over there. The sight surprised both of them. Xianjun Yuheng was promoted to Immortal Emperor Yuheng. This is exactly what was explained in Leng Su's communication. Immortal Emperor Yuheng had a good reputation in the Ascension cultivator camp. This time the news spread to Donglan City, and the Ascension cultivator was very encouraged, so Leng Su couldn't wait to put this good news for Gu Yao and them. Compared with alchemist Rui and the four major families, the news of Leng Su and the others lags far behind. Qi Changjai raised his eyebrows, the thirst cannot be quenched in the distance. This situation may have an impact on the Piaoxiu Immortal Palace, but here in Donglan City. It's not that he looks down on the four major families, but it is because the four major families are in a corner, and their vision is very limited. He does not believe that these four families will not get news, but judging from their actions, they have no intention of restraining. Gu Yao thought for a while and asked, "You mean that the actions of alchemist Rui and city lord Qiao were influenced by this?" Qi Changjai said, "Maybe it is possible. The palace lord of Piaoxiu Immortal Palace is just an immortal, and it is impossible to turn a deaf ear to this matter. Changes, the Piaoxiu Immortal Palace in it cannot be unaffected." Leng Su came another news, saying that Daoist Baihen wanted to see them. On that day, they and Su Chen handed Baihen to other Ascension cultivators, but the cub showed his face in front of Baihen, otherwise he would not be able to win her trust, so Baihen could definitely guess that they were behind the cub. The two decided to meet and find out why Baihen was in such a situation. They will definitely leave Donglan City in the future, but they are worried that there will be such a big trouble in Donglan City, and future friends will fly up. Don't you have to face the same situation as Baihen? After several turnarounds, in the end, even Gu Yao and the others lost their way, and they were taken to the underground space where they saw the Beskar that was recovering. Baihen's complexion is slightly better than when he was in the arena before, but it is far from the brilliance when he was in the spiritual world, but the evil spirit on his body is very strong, which was not there when he was in the spiritual world at that time. Seeing the two coming together, Baihen rarely showed a smile. "It's good to see you as always." This gave her hope. After coming to the immortal realm, how good was her initial expectation for the immortal realm, and how big the blow was later on. If it wasn't for years of practice that made her temperament strong enough, I'm afraid she couldn't support it long ago. Friends soaring up, can break this situation. Guyao also smiled and touched his face. I didn't expect the fairy to recognize us at a glance. They are using unfamiliar faces now. Bai Hen said with a smile, besides you don't think about others. I heard that Daosu went to Alchemy Rui's side. Maybe it's a good source. I have heard of Alchemy Rui's personality. This person is relatively neutral, impartial, floating in the air. It is also rare in the boundaries of Snow Immortal Palace. Bai Hen said this. Guyao felt a lot more at ease about Su Chen's situation. At least there was no problem with the character of Pill Master Miao. Guyao took some healing medicine pills and handed them to Bai Hen. Those hardships in the arena must have left her with hard-to-heal wounds. At present, these medicine pills, Guyao does not know if they can heal her. Bai Hen was stunned for a moment, but did not push it out, but accepted it. In the past, these two were juniors, but now they are in front of her. She doesn't have such great self-esteem and thinks that she should not accept this medicine pill. For her, the healing medicine pill is the most in short supply. Only in the future can there be further opportunities. The reason why I can persist in the arena is that I don't want my years of cultivation to be ruined and destroyed by those villains. The three of them all sat on the ground, and no one disturbed their conversation. Bai Hen asked about the situation of Zelling World after her ascension. For them, Zelling World is their hometown, and the hometown is safe. Of course, it is a blessing. The happy thing is that Bai Hen's face is a little more relaxed and soft after listening to it. But then she changed her face. Perhaps you didn't expect that I was betrayed by the Ascension cultivator. This person you may have met is Su Yuxiu, who voluntarily committed himself to the young master of the Zhang family as a concubine. The last three words were squeezed by Bai Hen from between her teeth, full of cold hatred. If it was only those families who shot her, they might not hate her to this extent. The first thing she hates is Su Yuxiu, and the second thing she hates is the Zhang family. Coming. When Bai Hen pointed at the young master of the Zhang family that day, Guyao and Qi Changjai guessed that Bai Hen had fallen into such a situation and could not be separated from the young master of Zhang family, and now it is indeed the case. Guyao frowned. I didn't expect it to be her. We did meet Su Yuxiu because of Captain Leng, and we could see that she was not on the same path as Captain Leng, but we didn't expect to be so helpless. Bai Hen's face showed hostility. I have agreed with Captain Leng. This woman will be kept for me. If I don't take revenge myself, my heart will not go away. In fact, you don't need to remind me. You can also see that woman. The real face is that I had been an elder in the spiritual world for so long that I didn't know how to live the life of an ordinary person, so the experience during this period should be regarded as a grind. Guyao and Qi Changjai found out that Bai Hen really thought so. Just waiting to solve the enemy. I believe that Bai Hen can regain confidence and open-minded. I want to see the two of you this time. In addition to seeing my benefactor and old friends, there is another thing I want to ask Gu Alchemist. Bai Hen looked at Guyao, and in the spiritual world, he knew that Guyao's alchemy was very good, and he could get the senior Dangxian. The inheritance is not an ordinary person. She believes that even if such an ancient Yao comes to the fairyland, it will not be buried for too long. Sure enough, the medicinal pills taken in the arena were very effective. Without the help of those medicinal pills, they would not have been able to accomplish anything at all. Even those fellow deists who died in the arena, she believed that they would die without turning back. Seeing Bai Hen's solemn attitude, Guyao couldn't help asking, "What can I do to help?" Bai Hen knows Guyao's temperament, so she won't refuse if she can help. It's about the slave seal. Slave mark? Qi Changjai asked with raised eyebrows. Bai Hen smiled. Qi Changjai has always been very protective of Guyao, she explained. It's about the slave mark. There have always been Ascension monks who want to break the slave mark and get rid of the enslavement of these noble families to the Ascension monks, and now their research has entered at the critical stage. If there is an ancient alchemist to join, maybe it can speed up the progress. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 583. Guyao and Chi Changjai glanced at each other and nodded in agreement. In their opinion, the slave seal should not exist. Guyao certainly doesn't want to miss the opportunity to contact him now, but so many Ascension cultivators haven't cracked it after years of research. He can't guarantee that he can make a difference, but it's good to see it. When Guyao and Chi Changjai left Baihan's room, they saw Leng Su, who was waiting outside, and led them to the place where they studied slave marks. This underground space is very large, or Guyao and Chi Changjai can't guarantee whether it is an underground space or a small secret realm, but what is certain is that this is a secret stronghold of the ascended cultivator. Trusted. Although Leng Su and the others didn't know Guyao and Chi Changjai for a long time, the arena incident has put them on the opposite side of the four major families. If this is not trustworthy, the price paid by the four major families is too high. Bigger. Leng Su took them to a building, and a person came out to greet them. Guyao and Chi Changjai took a closer look. This man's cultivation base is not weak, he should be a late-stage cultivator of Earth Immortal. This is Xia Kunren, fellow deist Xia, who is currently one of the best experts in our Ascension cultivator camp. Leng Su introduced them. It turned out to be fellow deist Xia. I met fellow deist Xia. Xia Kunren said enthusiastically, the two of you are finally here. Xia has been waiting for a long time, please come in. Friend Xia, please. The four of them entered together. Guyao and Chi Changjai were surprised when they saw the furnishings inside. The rows of display racks were filled with books and jade slips of various colors, as well as a lot of sundries that might be unclear. Needless to say, the items here are the most important collections of the entire ascended monk camp. Seeing the changes in the expressions of the two, Xia Kunren was very happy, and they could finally come up with something for the Ascension camp, so that they would not be really poor. Xia Kunren picked up a book at hand. It was a travel experience left by a monk. If you study it carefully, you will find some things in it. For example, a small secret area they discovered was excavated based on the abnormal scene described in a travel journal. Don't be surprised, two fellow deists, these things can only be used to their fullest potential. We have collected some pill recipes and elixir formulas over the years, hoping to help the ancient pill master. Xia Kunren pointed to them as he walked. There is a display rack, where all books and jade slips related to the direction of alchemy are placed. Guyao is not in a hurry to read those books and jade slips. Since he is here, he will definitely have time. He has not forgotten the main purpose, which is for the slave seal. Xia Kunren was also observing them, and Guyao was happy with Guyao's performance. Finally, he took them to the third floor. The place was empty and there were few things on display. Some scattered papers were piled up in one place. Guyao, who was sharp-eyed, could when I found the strange lines on the paper, I immediately thought of the slave seal. Master Gu, please take a look. Xia Kunren took a jade slip and said, it records the slave imprint branded into the soul. This kind of slave imprint is entwined with the soul. I want to avoid damaging the soul. It's too hard to strip it out. Sure enough, Guyao penetrated his divine sense into the jade slip, and saw the scene described by Xia Kunren, which made him gasp. Chi Changjai, who had been following Guyao all the time, also took a look, and he became more and more disdainful of these four families. Guyao and Chi Changjai stayed here for the time being, and first read the research results about slave seals. The current research result is that the slave seal comes from a kind of soul that has been lost in ancient times. Blood is the body. The soul curse that was cited, the 4 major families got the residual spell, which was processed and transformed on the basis of the residual spell. Seeing the relevant description, you can know that the soul power formed by the slave seal is definitely not from the 4 major families themselves, but through special methods to strip other monks' souls, and then through various methods to extract the required soul power. Such a soul spell or soul talisman, Rao Chi Changjai, who has studied a lot of magic talismans, has never heard of it, but there is a cultivator who flew up from another lower realm, but he has heard of such very sinister people. Method: he provided a lot of useful clues, but it is very difficult to launch the reverse spell. Guyao has never done much research on runes, and the only thing he can help is the application of soul power. After trying several methods to no avail, he first went downstairs to read other books and jade slips, and strived for these few. The collection here will be read over and over again. Chi Changjai stayed upstairs, and the cub also stayed, staring at a spell as if trying to stare it out of the flower. Xia Kunran and Leng Su were also talking, and it was recommended by Bai Hen that Guyao join Slave Yin's research. Bai Hen was very confident in Guyao, which made Xia Kunran and Leng Su also curious. Thinking of Guyao's alchemy technique, Xia Kunran guessed, Gu alchemist must be very powerful in soul, and his control of soul power is also very good. I hope it can really bring us good results. Leng Su said, even if the ancient alchemist can't break the slave mark, the excellent alchemy of the ancient alchemist will help us enough. Rumei has entered the city lord's mansion now and will not be able to come back for a while. Besides, although Rumei's alchemy skills are good, compared with the ancient alchemist, it is still a little worse. Although I didn't see it with my own eyes, Leng Su felt that Guyao and Su Chen's alchemy rate and alchemy speed were much higher than Feng Rumei. Master, one person can stand up to several alchemy masters of the same level as him. Guyao returned to the 3rd floor and was surprised to see Chi Changjai and Zai Zai staring at each other. Seeing Guyao coming back, Zai Zai quickly broke free from Chi Changjai's hand, and turned over to Guyao's shoulder in a single somersault. To complain to Guyao, Chi Changjai bullied him. Guyao didn't know whether to laugh or cry, but Chi Changjai gave him a voice transmission. As for the cub, let's go back and talk about it first. Okay, it seems that there is indeed something special about the cub. It just so happened that Guyao had also read all the related books and jade slips. The stronger the consciousness, the stronger the ability to memorize and read. Leng Su personally sent Guyao and the others away, and temporarily placed an order for medicine pills with Guyao. Guyao refused to accept anyone who came. Now, in Donglan City, there is no way to take orders at will from the exchange station. Back at the temporary cave they rented, Chi Changjai first activated the protective formation, then pulled out the cubs and said, "You can demonstrate it again." So the cub roared at Chi Changjai, the latter threw the little thing out, and at the same time the sword energy was densely guarded in front of him. Guyao clearly felt a surge of rushing towards Chi Changjai. "Go soul attack." "This is..." Guyao said in surprise, this kind of attack method had never been seen before. "Yeah." The cub shook his head proudly and flew back, landed on Guyao's shoulder and rubbed his face affectionately, and told Guyao sternly, "My newly awakened ability." Guyao was surprised. Brother Ye suspects that this is related to the soul curse. Chi Changjai had no general knowledge of this little thing, and guessed, maybe it is related, but if he wants to unlock that slave mark, he can't do it now. Guyao turned his head to look at the cub, and sure enough, the little expression he had just had changed, and gave him a short Chi Changjai look. Guyao was so happy to pull him down and squeezed. "Tell me, what is the answer?" "Thing." In the hands of Guyao, the cub is very honest and obediently told Guyao about his awakened new ability. In fact, he felt something after coming out of the ascension pool, but the feeling was not very clear, as if the quantity had changed to a certain stage there will be a qualitative change. After seeing those weird slave marks, Zizé gradually realized how to use his new abilities. It seems that once he understands, those abilities are imprinted in his mind like innate. Originally, although he was also able to carry out spirit power attacks, his current method is even more handy, and he can multiply his attack power more than several times. Through sharing, Zizé passed on several of the attacking techniques he had learned to Guyao. Guyao closed his eyes and absorbed it. It took him a while to digest it. He found that Zizé's new ability might indeed be called a soul. The spell is to use a special technique to amplify the means of soul power attack. But this is the ability of the cub imprinted in the blood. He found that it would be very difficult for him to use it, and it would not be able to achieve the same effect as him, but I have to say that compared to the previous cooperation with the cub in the arena, the soul compared with the force attack, this effect is several times stronger, and if he has learned it at that time, it will be much easier for him. Guyao tried to describe a few soul spells. He closed the door and studied it with Qi Changjai for a long time. After all, this kind of spell and the runes that Qi Changjai had previously studied still have something in common. The biggest difference may be the carrier's difference. The things related to the soul are too mysterious, and the two of them couldn't make much progress in a short period of time. However, on this basis, Guyao improved his soul power attack method, which was at least twice as high as before, and the results were still very gratifying. Once he got in, time passed quickly without knowing it. The news of Su Chen and Leng Su came one after another, and alchemist Rui's Yin-Yang Xiantian pill had been refined, and the word in Donglan City had already spread. Guyao realized that a lot of time had passed, and the two walked out of the temporary cave. Sure enough, they heard a lot of people talking about the Yin-Yang Xiantian pill. You must know that this is the first level elixir of heaven, and master he is the pinnacle of the earth immortal. Being able to refine it successfully means that his alchemy skills are very good. When this pill was made, everyone thought that City Lord Qiao would be impatient to enter the retreat in order to make a breakthrough, but the news came out that Pill Master Rui went to retreat first. Su Chen's message then came, I think, the City Lord surnamed Qiao is quite cunning, and he is probably worried that he will be manipulated by the four major families in the process of breaking through, so he simply let Alchemy Rui break through first, and wait until Alchemy Rui becomes an immortal, and there is an immortal protecting the Dharma, he can retreat without any worries. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 584. Although Alchemist Rui has retreated, the four selected Su Chen have not left. They still stay in his guest house. They can read the basic books placed here. This is unbelievable for Su Chen and Feng Rume. Matter. But this is not the case with Zhou Donglan and Li Hongyi. Their collections are also very rich, especially Li Hongyi. She has read and researched all the books and jade slips that she can get, but she just wants to learn more from Dan Master. Technique is currently unrealistic. Zhou Donglan wanted to go back very much, but he was worried that Master He Dan would have an opinion on him after leaving the customs, and he would lose this great opportunity, but he would be scolded by Chen Su from time to time when he stayed, and Zhou Donglan regretted why he thought he was the soft persimmon. To pinch it cheaply, he never knew which man would have such sharp teeth. Feng Rume often saw that Chen Su had nothing to say about Zhou Donglan, and her face was flushed with anger. She felt happy in her heart. I don't know why Zhou Donglan was always disgusted by these loose cultivators, and now she has run into an opponent. Among the four of them, it was obvious that the one who received the most attention from Alchemist Rui was Chen Su, and Zhou Donglan and Li Hongyi both took a step back. Alchemist Rui suddenly announced the retreat, which was also a blow to the four major families in Donglan City. They never thought that Alchemist Rui would choose to retreat in Donglan City, and they did not expect that he and Xiao Shuangfeng had such a good relationship. Patriarch Zhang said suspiciously, isn't it just an exchange of interests between them, when can we trust so much? Alchemist Rui broke through on Qiao Shuangfeng's territory, and is not afraid of what the surnamed Qiao will do. Patriarch Shi said, I got the news that the surnamed Qiao has made a lot of preparations for this breakthrough. When we did not guard against him, he got a copy of Wuhua Immortal Water, and the amount of Wuhua Immortal Water was enough for both him and Rui Danchi. After using it, the reason why we can invite Dan Master Rui to come in person is mainly because of this Wuhua Immortal Water. The patriarchs of the Li family and the Zheng family were also amazed. I didn't expect the surnamed Qiao to keep such a hand. No wonder he dared to attack the heavenly immortal with such confidence. Patriarch Zhang's teeth itch with hatred, the surnamed Qiao. If we knew that he had so many immortal waters in his hands, we should. Yin-Yang Xiantian pill is precious, but it can be refined by heaven-level elixir masters. There are big business firms that travel to and from various immortal realms. They can still find a way to get it as long as they drop a lot of immortal stones, but Wuhua immortal water belongs to nature. The treasures raised by the earth can be encountered but not sought after. These four families have never encountered such a good thing, but Qiao Shuangfeng managed to get them. To know whether there is Huaxian Shui, plus the help of Yin-Yang Xiantian pill, you can increase the probability of breaking through the heavenly immortal by 30% or 40%. Of course, whether it is 30% or 40% depends on the quality of Wuhua Immortal Water and Yin-Yang Xiantian pill. 10% will make the monk willing to pay any price. If I had known, the four of them joined forces to grab this Wuhua Immortal Water from the surnamed Qiao. Maybe the four of them could rely on resources to build a ferry, and then Qiao Shuangfeng would be in charge. But now Dan Master Miao is breaking through in retreat, can they make small moves? Not at all. Because Alchemist Miao has accumulated a lot of connections inside and outside the Piaoxiu Immortal Palace over the years by virtue of his identity as an alchemist, if there is something wrong with him during the breakthrough process, they are worried that some monks will come to Donglan City and come here. An immortal, their four families can be wiped out in an instant. Can't afford to gamble, don't dare to gamble. Then what are we going to do now? Are we just admit defeat? Once Qiao Shuangfeng is promoted to heavenly immortal, the balance maintained by the four of them and Qiao Shuangfeng will immediately become invalid. Qiao Shuangfeng will become an existence absolutely superior to them, that is, his status in Piaoxiu Immortal Palace will also be improved. Not reconciled. But what can I do if I'm not happy? Do they have the ability to rebel? The last four patriarchs left in different directions with heavy faces. But in the end, Patriarch Shi came to Zhang's house and secretly met with Patriarch Zhang. You said, how about we use that thing on Qiao, Patriarch Shi suggested. The surnamed Qiao is now at the pinnacle of Earth Immortal, and he is only one step away from breaking through. Our existing clan elders may not be his opponents. How to start? The defenses around him are definitely not weak. If we fail and let him seize the opportunity to deal with us, wouldn't that let the Zheng family and Li family take advantage of the fishermen? The four families are not entirely of one mind. Patriarch Zhang said, let me think about it again. Would. Guyao and Qi Chengjai are also looking forward to the promotion of Alchemist Rui. Even if Alchemist Rui turns a blind eye to the private behavior of the four families, if he and City Lord Qiao are successfully promoted one after another, it will break the current situation. To bring pressure to the four families, at that time these four families still have time to take care of their affairs. When the two of them were studying the soul curse and entering the bottle path, they decided to go out of the city to do some activities, mainly to let Zai and Gu. Remote verification of the attack method of the soul spell. This method is the same as the soul refining method, which requires the soul to be naturally powerful. For example, the slave seal used by the four major families on the monks, now the two have gained some experience after preliminary research on the soul curse. His own soul power was stimulated. After the two left the city, they didn't find any stalkers behind them. I wonder if it was because alchemist Rui retreated and prepared to break through, leaving the four families too busy to take care of other things, but even if they came out, the two wanted to see if they could escape. Cub's new attack method. A day later, they found a group of red-eyed leopards, cubs that developed new abilities. When they saw the prey appear, they rushed up excitedly, and roared several times at the red-eyed leopards. Guyao, who had a contract with the cubs, was the best. Clearly feeling this attack method, this star beast was originally not strong in soul power, but under the impact of this roar, its movements became sluggish, and its eyes became blurred. The cub was so happy that it flew over and slapped the slow-moving red-eyed leopard on its paws. This time, Chi saw it. It was different from before. Every time it slapped its paws, there would be a black flame infiltrating into it. And then brought out another beast's soul, and the cub opened his mouth and swallowed the struggling beast's soul. Guyao could feel that after the burning of the black flames, the beast's soul finally had only the purest soul power, which merged into the cub's body. In the end, two red-eyed leopards broke free from the blur, but only these two could play no role at all, and soon died under the cub's roar and claws. Although the strength of this group of red-eyed leopards is not very good, they are only human-level middle-level star beasts, but the cub's attack method still surprises Guyao and Chi. They will grow up in the future, and they will definitely be peerless beasts. How many can living beings escape? No, the Black Nightmare was originally a vicious beast. Chi glanced at Guyao, but it fell into Guyao's hands and let him raise him like a child. Who made this black cat and cub look like a black nightmare? Visual deception. Guyao never treated him as an uncontrollable beast, so before this, the Black Nightmare was not really able to show his hideous side. The cub killed the red-eyed leopard, swallowed the beast's soul, and finally put the complete corpse into the storage ring. The pet must also be equipped, and then fly back to ask Guyao for credit. For this awakened instinctual innate magical power, there is no difference between good and evil in the cub, only know that it can help the master earn a lot of immortal stones, and also make yourself stronger. At first, Guyao also thought that this ability was too terrifying, but when he saw the cub shaking his head, he felt that as long as the cub was by his side, how could he not listen to his own words and watch him? He believed that the cub would only grow up a good cub to deter the enemy. It's amazing, it's amazing. Let's go, let's continue to find the next wave of star beasts. Guyao picked up the cubs and continued to look for the star beasts. Chi saw a soft smile flashing in his eyes. Now that the Chi Earth Immortal is powerful, the two can go deeper into the starry sky, and the scope of hunting star beasts has also greatly increased. After the cub's innate ability was developed, the lethality became stronger and stronger, and the breath continued to rise as it devoured the soul of the beast. Guyao is also practicing the soul spell method, but he and Zizai are born with different methods. He needs to keep learning and practicing to improve. He first used his own soul power to build a soul charm, and then knocked it out. After practicing again and again, he built the soul charm faster and faster. He cooperated with Zizai, and the two even surrounded and suppressed more than an Earth-level star beast. As for those beyond their strength, they will be handed over to Chi. The cub's strength rose rapidly. Guyao found that the pure soul power that the cub could not digest and absorb would flow into his sea of consciousness, and Guyao's aura was also constantly growing. This discovery surprised him. At the same time, I felt that the wonderful taste of this rapid rise would make people addicted to it, and secretly reminded myself not to lose the direction of cultivation. Just when they were hunting the star beasts with the cubs in the starry sky, the cave they rented temporarily welcomed a group of monks with special status, who rented the cave to their stewards, and saw the identity that the monks took out. Card, had to forcibly open the formation outside the cave. After the two parties joined hands to smash the formation of the cave, they found that there was no one inside. Hey, I escaped. I ordered to go down and search the whole city, especially the gate of the city. The two cultivators are mainly wanted. News. They've been spotted out of town. Out of the city? Okay, then let's go out of the city to arrest people and follow me. Yes. The group of monks flew away, and two monks showed their bodies in the distance. It was Leng Su and Xia Kunren. After they found that someone was eyeing Gu Yao and Qi Changjai, they quickly sent a message to notify them, but they could not reach anyone. Guessing that they may have gone out of town, far enough away, the messenger is too low level to be able to contact. Xia Kunren looked at the messy Dongfu and said, the one who led the team is the young master of the Zhang family. It's him, they're amazing. I didn't expect that they would find out about Alchemist Gu and the others, Leng Su said with a cold face. She thought that maybe it was because of Chen Su's appearance that they suspected the ancient alchemist who appeared with Chen Su. On Yao and Qi Changjai, even if they changed their identities. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 585. Su Chen received the news that the cave mansion was destroyed, and he had the heart to kill. He felt sorry for the immortal stone who rented the cave mansion. This was the second time it was wasted. As for Gu Yao and Qi Changjai, I don't know where to go outside the city early, and they can catch them with those idiots. It's almost the same as the head. Seeing Zhou Donglin walking out of the room, Su Chen sneered, if others make him unhappy, he also wants to make others unhappy. Zhou Donglin suddenly got cold in his vest, and when he looked up, he saw Su Chen smiling at him. He had the urge to flee back to the room immediately, but could he admit defeat? Absolutely not. Two immortal shuttles flew out from the city gate and plunged into the vast sea of stars. Gu Yao and Qi Changjai really felt that these days were very cool. For Gu Yao, after entering the peak of the earth immortal, the growth of this cultivation slowed down. He was not impatient, and cultivation had to be done step by step. However, because of the cubs, the awakening of the cub's new ability has driven his cultivation to rise, so of course he won't push it out if there is a good thing. Because the cultivation base has grown too fast, they are worried that the foundation will be unstable, so they will stop and rest after a while. Other monks may not be able to cultivate in this starry sky. This place is full of crises and energy is mixed, but Gu Yao doesn't need to worry about it. Pure immortal energy to consolidate one's own cultivation base and refine the newly increased power. When the two left Donglin City, they agreed with Su Chen. If they didn't come back, Su Chen would stay with Alchemist Rui. They didn't believe that the hands of the four families could reach Alchemist Rui. When the alchemist broke through and advanced, he was safer around him. Gu Yao hit out another soul talisman, and the star beast at the peak of the human level was stunned, and a fairy sword shot at it, instantly killing the star beast. The results were gratifying. Gu Yao himself concluded that at this moment, he used his divine sense to carry out a one attack, and the power was quadrupled compared to that of the arena, and the power was doubled compared to when he first learned the soul talisman. This method is really sinister. Best way. At this moment, he joined forces with Zizai, and it was easy to deal with an Earth-level primary star beast, but he also knew that this was a star beast. It is much stronger than the star beast, but in the battle of monks, the slightest negligence can have fatal effects. With the proficiency of soul talismans and the increase in cultivation, Gu Yao felt that his understanding of soul talismans was also deepening, and the slave seal seemed to him no longer a difficult problem to solve. But there's one more important thing right now, I think I need to get out of the way first. Qi Changjai clenched his fists against his lips and chuckled. As early as when Gu Yao was thinking about something, he found that Gu Yao's aura had risen to the top and was about to be uncontrollable, and his Xian Yuan force kept surging. He said, "Call the cub back, I have long been optimistic about the location, so I will take you there." Gu Yazan smiled, "Okay." At this moment, more than one group of forces in the starry sky are looking for Guyao and Qi Changjai. They have been hunting in the starry sky for so long. They have encountered other hunting teams on the way, and they have also been killed by star thieves. Good end, but their whereabouts are not untraceable. Zhang Dashao personally led the team out, saying that he was guilty of making meritorious deeds, but in fact he could not tolerate the arrogant cultivator under his nose, let alone the enemy to grow up under his nose. It took 50 years to break through the earth immortal. How high is such a talent, so such a genius can only die? In Zhang Dashao's eyes, the Ascension monks are intruders who come to their territory to rob them of their interests, so they don't show mercy to these plunderers at all. Either they become slaves in his hands, or they depend on him like Su Yuxiu. When you are happy, reward her with something, and the rest should not exist. Young master, they should be heading in this direction. Shall we follow? The road ahead is more dangerous. The guard came over and asked. Young master, Zhang said coldly, could it be that this young master is not as good as two ascending cultivators? Give it to this young master and then go down. Yes, young master, the guard bit the bullet and turned around to convey the order. Young master, look, there are robbery clouds gathering in front of you, and there are monks crossing the robbery, some guards exclaimed. In their opinion, crossing the robbery in this starry sky is simply asking for a dead end. Who is not in Donglan City finding a place early, and making full preparations before starting to transcend the calamity, it is also a narrow escape. For the natives of the fairyland, the calamity of becoming a human immortal is very easy, but starting from the earth immortal, they will find that the calamity is getting harder and harder, and how many monks have died under the calamity. The survival rate under the earth immortal tribulation is much higher than them. In their opinion, why? Zhang Dashao narrowed his eyes. I remember the two ascending monks, one of them is the peak of the immortal. The guard was shocked. Isn't it about to cross the tribulation so soon? According to the information they found, it didn't take long for the cultivator to advance to the peak of the immortal. Bar. Zhang Dashao was also unhappy in his heart. Go over and take a look and you will know. Let's go. Yes, sir. The thunder robbery slammed down. Qi Changjai stood outside the scope of the calamity and watched silently. As for the two little guys beside Guyao, whether they were cubs or Mou, they were a little terrified of this thunder calamity. Can you help me? It's not too busy to arrive, so Guyao can only carry it by himself. When he was in the spiritual world, he was rich and powerful, and he threw the spiritual tools and treasures out as if they didn't need money. He didn't feel bad if they were torn apart. Seeing the low-grade immortal artifact being split into ashes by the thunder tribulation, I didn't feel bad at all, because these low-grade immortal artifact were the spoils of war collected from the star thieves over the years, and they couldn't sell many immortal stones, so it would be better to use them as waste. It's just that the grades of these low-grade immortal artifacts were too low, and most of the thunder tribulations fell on Guyao. As the thunder tribulations fell one after another, wounds appeared on Guyao's body. After taking the healing medicine, these wounds healed quickly. Then he was injured by lightning tribulation. This process was repeated continuously, and the physical strength was also continuously improved. Suddenly a murderous intention was revealed. Qi Changjai turned around to look. The purple thunder sword beside him was buzzing, and it was as murderous as its owner. Anyone who wanted to destroy the robbery would be killed without mercy. Two immortal shuttles emerged from the starry sky and stood there quietly. Before they could see the people in the immortal shuttles, Qi Changjai knew that the enemy was coming. No matter who comes, there is no return. Zhang Dashao originally came to investigate with the idea that he would rather kill a mistake than let it go, but he did not expect that one of the two ascending monks they were looking for was transcending the calamity. Looking at the terrifying power of the heavenly tribulation, Zhang Dashao's eyes became even more fearful. If they were allowed to continue to grow, sooner or later, including the Zhang family, there would be no more opponents for them in Donglan City. With a wave of Zhang Dashao's hand, he ordered, "No matter what method is used to destroy the calamity, I want them to stay here forever." Yes. The Earth Immortals who came with Zhang Dashao all surrounded Qi Changjai, and those Immortals rushed to Guyao, who had crossed the robbery. Guyao also noticed it when Xianxuo was revealed, but he didn't leave them with a single distraction. He only needed to go all out to endure the catastrophe, and the rest could be left to Qi Changjai. Kill. Zhang Dashao took the lead in rushing towards Qi Changjai, the purple thunder dragon hovering around Qi Changjai. Suddenly brilliant, dazzling sword energy attacked the monks gathered around. Even if the cultivator who has never fought Qi Changjai overestimates him, he doesn't think he can escape under the siege of 6 Earth Immortals. As long as he dies, the cultivator who transcends the calamity will not be able to play any role. However, when the sword Qi with the aura of destruction hit, the 2 Earth Immortals who bore the brunt of the initial stage vomited blood and flew out. With just one blow, the 2 Earth Immortals lost most of their combat power in the early stage, and all other attacks were blocked. The pair of Tianxin rings controlled by Zhang Dashao collided in the air, making a buzzing sound, shocking the heart. However, Qi Changjai was often yelled at by the cubs, and the spirits had been tested and stabilized, but the Tianxin ring could not affect him at all. The sword Qi was still wanton, severing the body of Shang Dixian. This pair of heavenly heart rings is a fairy weapon that Zhang Dashao is proud of. It is infinitely close to the middle grade. It is used to defeat the enemy. It has always been invincible. The heart ring and the 2 hearts are continuously enlarged in the air, covering the path towards Qi Changjai. Jade heart ring can not only have a sound attack and confuse people's minds, but also a rare trapping weapon. When the Jade Heart Ring combined into one flew over Qi Changjai, the raging sword Qi really subsided, unable to breaking free from the range shrouded by the Jade Heart Ring. Zhang Dashao was overjoyed and shouted, "Intensify the attack, he can't last long with his ability." The purple thunder dragon roamed desperately, trying to get rid of the Jade Heart Ring. Zhang Dashao's expression became more and more smug. Where could these ascended monks have good immortal artifacts, and many of them still had low-grade immortal artifacts. Just as Zhang Dashao was complacent, a dark shadow suddenly appeared around him. Zhang Dashao also had immortal armor on his body. If he wanted to sneak up on him, it would be a waste of time, but the next moment a roar sounded. Zhang Dashao with a scream, the Jade Heart Ring controlled by him immediately shook, unable to maintain the appearance of being one. The trapped purple thunder dragon didn't have the same tiredness as before, and with a roar, it flew towards Zhang Dashao. Not good. Hurry up and protect the young master. The other Earth Immortals found that the situation was wrong, and flew over quickly, but it was too late, only to see a dazzling thunder light flashed. The purple thunder dragon had passed through the chest. The low-grade high-rank immortal, the armor of the weapon could not resist the blow of the purple thunder sword. At this moment, the black shadow fully appeared in his true body, a giant beast that hunted, stepping on the black flame and kicked Zhang Dashao, directly kicking the person out. What? You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 586. When Zhang Dashao came out of the immortal shuttle, Qi Changjai recognized him, so his first thought was to capture the thief and the king. After getting rid of this young master, the rest was nothing but a plate of loose sand. It is not a problem to keep all these cultivators behind if they help the Yin people. Therefore, when dealing with other Earth Immortals, Qi Changjai focused on defense. First, he caught and killed Zhang Dashao, and the cub even concealed his figure and made tricks when the enemy was not prepared. Sure enough, Zhang Dashao was caught off guard and was affected. No, young master, one of the strongest guards around young master Zhang was in the middle stage of Earth Immortal, and flew over to catch young master Zhang, but at this moment, the light in young Master Zhang's eyes had gradually extinguished, leaving only horror and death in his eyes. A soul imprint flew out of Zhang Dashao's body and shot at Qi Changjai at a very fast speed. This was left by the ancestor of the Zhang family on the important children of the clan. After the death of the clan's children, this soul imprint will remain on the murderer. The clan elders will use the soul imprint to hunt down the murderer and shock the enemy. The soul imprint is extremely fast and can ignore most of the defenses. However, just when the soul imprint was about to penetrate into Qi Changjai's body, the savage beast standing in the starry sky opened its mouth and sucked, and the soul imprint was drawn into the giant's body. In the mouth of the beast, it is useless to let the soul mark struggle to get rid of it. All the monks who besieged Qi Changjai were stunned. They didn't expect that within a few rounds, Zhang Dashajing would die at the hands of the ascending monks they were chasing. He was only a cultivator in the early stage of Earth Immortal, and could actually ignore the attack of the cultivator in the middle stage of Earth Immortal and kill Zhang Dashao. They all underestimated the ability of this ascended cultivator. The mid-Earth Immortal guards were both frightened and frightened. Young Master Zhang died because of his ineffectiveness in guarding. When he returned to Zhang's house, he didn't have any good fruit to eat. Only by trying to kill the murderer, the best result is to save this life. The mid-Earth Immortal cultivator put Zhang Dashao's corpse in the storage ring, turned around and stared at Qi Changjai, his eyes swept over the ferocious beast, Black Nightmare. Good, good, no matter what ability you have, it is doomed. Can't get rid of Zhang family's pursuit, go to hell. The next moment, these Earth Immortals launched a frantic attack on Qi Changjai again. The cubs shuttled around Qi Changjai, making roars from time to time. Gu Yao named such an attack, it was called Soul Roar. Every time the Soul Roar, including the mid-Earth Immortal monks, could not completely get rid of the influence, he was shocked. I understand why Zhang Dashao would stand there and face Qi Changjai's fatal blow. It wasn't that he didn't want to dodge, but that he couldn't dodge because of the roar. He never knew that the Black Nightmare could still have such magical powers. It has a small impact on the middle stage of the Earth Immortals, but it has a much greater impact on those in the early stage of the Earth Immortals. In cooperation with the cubs, Qi Changjai took the opportunity to kill those early stage Earth Immortals, and the Purple Thunder Sword followed his cultivation. Growing up, the immortal weapons in the hands of the local monks did not have an advantage in front of him, so 2 more early stage monks died in his hands in a blink of an eye. Horrified, this is a killing god. The mid-Earth Immortal cultivator was equally frightened, turned around and flew towards Gu Yao, who was crossing the heavenly tribulation, trying to destroy one of them by the method of perishing together, otherwise he would not be able to escape death when he went back, including his family. Now killing one, maybe his family still survived, and at the same time, those immortals also received his order and began to attack Gu Yao under the robbery cloud. Qi Changjai was furious and ordered the cub, go and help Xiaoao, don't let them disturb Xiaoao's calamity. Under normal circumstances, who would be willing to provoke a monk who is going through a calamity? Because then the cultivators who attacked would also be included in the target of transcending the robbery. If they were hacked by the robbery cloud, the higher the cultivation base, the stronger the robbery cloud they faced. But now for the monks on Zhang Dashao's side, the normal situation is no longer able to deal with it, and the only way to do it is to fight to the death, but also to pull back. With a cry of ouch, the Jinghun giant beast rushed in the direction of the robbery. He didn't need to explain it late, and he would not let these destroy his master's robbery, because the master was unpredictable, and he and Mou also it didn't end well, so I was especially angry at this time, and while flying over, I launched Soul Roar. The figures flying in the air almost fell, and the attacks that were about to be shot were stagnant for some reason. Mou also flew out of the thunder tribulation at this time, and the kelp turned into sharp swords and penetrated the chests of these immortals. With the cooperation of one beast and one plant, a one-sided massacre was launched, and the Immortals were not their opponents at all. It didn't take long for the monks brought by Zhang Dashao to be the only one left in the middle stage of the Earth Immortal. Even he was very embarrassed. My heart is full of hatred, but I can't regret it. Why didn't I persuade the young master not to shoot this killing god? He has been in contact with many ascending monks, but he has never found it so difficult. He has found out in despair that the entire Donglan city can no longer hold back the footsteps of these two ascending monks. Countless sword chi condensed in the starry sky, and the figure of the purple thunder dragon disappeared. In the end, there was only an immortal sword that exuded a terrifying aura in the starry sky. The thunder fell with a click, and the immortal sword carried a tyrannical and unparalleled aura towards the Earth Immortal. Middle. After the period was cut off, the space seemed to be broken into pieces around the body of the fairy sword. Guyao's last thunder robbery fell from the sky, and the rumbling sound was earth-shattering. Qi Changjai's last blow was like a world-destroying thunder, unstoppable. There are monks who are attracted by the tribulation vision and fighting fluctuations here. They watch from a distance. If both sides are injured, they can take the opportunity to rob a wave and pick up a leak. However, this is the lightning sword cultivator who protects the tribulation monks. The strength is beyond their imagination, and the strength of the net hunting beast is also extremely terrifying. Therefore, even if the Mid-Earth Immortals were killed by Qi Changjai's strongest blow, they still did not dare to approach. Who is this guy? He's so good. He's in the early stage of the Earth Immortal, and the middle stage of the Earth Immortal is not his opponent. You should have heard of these two monks. There is a communication station in this starry sky. There are 3 extraordinary monks, 2 elixir masters, 1 sword fairy, these are 2 of them, and there is another one. The bit went from nowhere. What? It turned out to be them. This is another disaster? The growth rate of the cultivation base is too fast. After being reminded, many people remembered the legends that have been passed down in the exchange station and the starry sky. It hasn't been too long, but those who haven't seen it with their own eyes always feel that this is a legend, not human. The monks who dare to transcend the calamity in this starry sky are all warriors. What's more, he was robbed and killed by such a powerful force, and there was no other way to go if he changed others. Not all sword cultivators can be called sword immortals, but sword immortals belong to the kind of immortals who are particularly powerful and can leapfrog challenges. When Qi Changjai slaughtered Heqiang, an Earth Immortal, Zhong Si, with his cultivation in the early stage of the Earth Immortal, some people began to call him the Sword Immortal. Qi Changjai took away the storage rings on those monks and glanced at the monks who were hiding in the distance. Those monks just didn't dare to breathe, and it was not until Qi Changjai looked away that the pressure on their bodies had decreased. Qi Changjai didn't even let go of the 2 immortal shuttles, and they all took them away. At this time, the clouds opened and the mist dissipated, the starry sky was clear and bright, and the rain fell, and the immortal energy here became tame, the nose was full of fragrance, and there was not a trace of blood. The monk at the stage of human beings looked enviously at Guyao, who absorbed the heaven and earth. In the immortal realm, every big step forward is a huge ascension. Some monks who stay for tens of thousands of years may not be able to surpass it. Here, breaking through the bottle path and advancing has become a more difficult thing. Although this was an opportunity to get to know the strong, the monks who were watching from afar still left one after another. The timing was not right, and they were worried that they would be killed. If they did not miss the point, the group who attacked them before should be Donglan City. Zhang's family, because the Zhang family travels, the Xianchuo used has the Zhang family's family emblem on it, which is so high profile. The monks wandering in the starry sky have 2 attitudes towards a family like the Zhang family. One is to stand on the opposite side of the Zhang family. However, Donglan City does not have much living space for them, and they are forced to take risks to make a living. Those who colluded with the 4 families were secretly doing shady business. However, no matter what kind of person they are, They are unwilling to disclose this matter, otherwise they would have made a big mistake if they did not come out to help the Zhang family fight together. So everyone tacitly kept this matter in their stomachs. Maybe when the situation changed, they could speak freely and tell others that they saw the dazzling appearance of the thunder sword Immortal in the starry sky. The name of the sword Immortal is well deserved. It is important for Qi Changjai to protect Guyao. Where will they catch up and kill them? When Zhang Dashao has the intention of killing them, they will have no room for reconciliation with the Zhang family, and they even find that the Zhang family and the other three families have come out together. When it comes to the slave mark of the Ascension and the Ascension monks, their positions are opposite. Guyao slowly opened his eyes, showing a smile. The feeling of leveling up is really good. There is a feeling that you can knock over an earth-level star beast with your bare hands. Guyao called Cub and Mou back, and left here with Qi Changjai. The Zhang family in Donglan City. Patriarch, it's not good, young master, his soul card is broken. What? The Patriarch was shocked. When the news of Zhang Dashao's death came out, it caused a heated discussion in the whole city, and the shock was even greater among the Zhang family and the other three families. For many years, none of the four of their families had any news of the death of an important member outside. It is rumored that this is breaking ground on Tai Sui's head. Zhang Dashao's backyard is even more chaotic. These women depended on Zhang Dashao to live. Now that Zhang Dashao is dead, what should they do? Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 587. Zhou Donglan looked at Su Chen with complicated eyes. Of course, his name was Chen Su at the moment. Zhou Donglan and the four major families suspected that Chen Su was one of the three cultivators who destroyed the arena, as well as a thunder sword cultivator and another elixir master. Outside, he got the news of Zhang Dashao's death much earlier than Su Chen. Su Chen still didn't know anything, but Zhou Donglan got a summons. Zhang Dashao's soul card in the clan was shattered. According to reliable information, the Zhang family took people out to arrest him. The two ascended monks, but now he is dead, and none of the guards who went with him came back alive, so Zhou Donglan almost couldn't help asking Chen Su if Zhang Dashao and his party died at the hands of his two accomplices. What? Is Alchemist Zhou coming to exchange alchemy techniques with me again? Su Chen felt strange in his heart, but he refused to admit defeat. Zhou Donglan's eyes became more complicated, and he was a little tangled. After a while, he said, "You can do it yourself, you have made a big disaster." After Zhou Donglan finished speaking, he turned around and left, leaving Su Chen confused. He has always been the only one who laughed at Zhou Donglan. When did he turn around? What is this talking about? Li Hongyi passed by and left a sentence. The young master of the Zhang family took someone out of the city, but the soul card was broken. Now Su Chen finally understood. Zhou Donglan kept half of what he said, better than the girl Hongyi. Su Chen thought to himself, what are those people going out of the city to do? They must have gone to Guyao and Qi Changjai. Now one has not come back, and they have all been killed by Guyao and Qi Changjai. When did these two guys become so sturdy? As far as he knew, although Zhang Dashao's group couldn't hold Guyao and Qi Changjai, it would be difficult to destroy Zhang Dashao and his party. Therefore, during his stay in the guest house, did those two guys have any chance to improve their strength? It didn't take long for Su Chen to get confirmation from Leng Su. That group of people really died out. Leng Su reminded him to be careful. Although the Zhang family had no evidence, but for a force like them, evidence is not necessarily needed to decide one people's sins. They would rather kill them by mistake than let them go. Su Chen thought about it. He should not go to Guyao's side to join in the fun, and he would just stay in this guest house honestly. He didn't believe that the Zhang family could still break in directly. This entire Donglan city is here. The safest. When Zhou Donglin found out that Su Chen was still reading books and pondering alchemy techniques, he couldn't believe it. Some people have such thick nerves and have no influence at all. Or are they all wrong? Are they not accomplices? Books. Qi Changjai controlled Xianchuo alone, while Gu Yao got into the space to consolidate his cultivation in the early stage of Earth Immortal. The movement of their battle is not small, so the news that the Zhang family died in their hands is likely to be passed back to the Zhang family, so it is not suitable for them to return to Donglin City at this moment. The starry sky with many dangers is much safer for them. So it's better to continue wandering in the starry sky. Of course, there are more than one communication station in the starry sky. No, after months of wandering, Qi Changjai found another communication station. Although there are very few monks wandering alone like Qi Changjai, the more they are, the more fearful they are and the more they dare not provoke them. Usually, what they can do means that their strength is very strong, otherwise they will not be able to get here at all. Sure enough, seeing the cultivator take out the materials in exchange for immortal stones made them more confident in their judgments. Most of those materials are earth-level star beasts, and there are refining materials from dangerous areas, even if large sums of immortal stones flow into Qi Changjai's hands. There were not many people who dared to attack him. But the immortal stone that was obtained, Qi Changjai handed it over and spread out a large sum of money to buy immortal grass and immortal array books and jade slips, and even pretended to buy some immortal pills, because who knows if there are people arranged by the four families in the exchange station. As for these elixir, when the monks live in the next place, they will sell them. For a time, the monks in the exchange station were talking about this lavish master. The master means that he can come and go in the starry sky without hindrance, and it also means that there will never be a shortage of the source of immortal stones. If you kill a few star beasts, you can replace them with immortal stones. What's going on recently? Powerful monks keep popping up. Some time ago, there was a powerful sword immortal, but the people who sent the Zhang family, including the Zhang family's eldest son, took the whole pot away, and now another one came out. A capable person who can enter the starry sky alone, tisk tisk, makes us cultivators incompetent. I heard that this sword immortal is an ascended cultivator. He has only been an earth immortal since he came up 50 years ago, but he disappeared after killing someone last time, including the elixir master who transcended the calamity at that time. I don't know how many people in the starry sky are looking for it. As for them, no news has come out so far. Ascension cultivators are great, but local cultivators aren't bad either. The young masters of the aristocratic families in Donglin City don't want to make progress, but the world outside is vast, and it is said that there are a few talented people in Zhangzhou City, who were directly defeated by Immortal Piaoxiu. Roll call. Those young men from Donglin City who entered the Asgard City, compared to these geniuses, are just wine bags and rice bags. If you encounter these geniuses, it is hard to say what the situation of Jianxian is. I don't think so. You must know that several Earth Immortals surrounded that sword immortal at that time, and the immortal pill master was still going through the calamity. You think it is not easy for Earth Immortals to run away, but don't they want to run away? They can't escape. No matter how fast the speed is, it can't keep up with the speed of Jiangxian's shot. How many people can do it? In the private room of the restaurant, Qi Changjai was drinking wine while listening to the gossip of the monks downstairs. He took out a map. This time he and Gu Yao really ran farther away. From here to the next city, Jiangzhongqing, it was more expensive than going back to Donglin City. It is much nearer, and Donglin City has Tian Lutuwang waiting for them at the moment, so why not go to Zhangzhou City first? But before going, you have to get in touch with Donglin City first. Leaving Su Chen alone in the wolf's den, he doesn't feel anything, but Xiaoao will definitely be worried. Thinking like this, Qi Changjai walked downstairs. Of course, there is a large-scale communication array in the exchange station that communicates with the outside world, but the cost of using it is much higher, and Chi Chang-jai, who has made a fortune, can completely afford it. Others only thought that he made a fortune by selling those star beasts and refining materials, but they didn't know that the immortal stones collected from Zhang Das Hao's group accounted for the majority. All come high. Borrowing the communication array, Chi Chang-jai got in touch with Leng Su, and he was relieved when he learned that everything was fine with Su Chen. If Su Chen wanted to join them, he would come to Jiangzhongchenj. In addition, he told Leng Su that they had obtained important clues about the slave seal and would continue to find a way to crack it. After the news was passed, Chi Chang-jai left the exchange station. Those monks who were jealous of his gains never thought that the sword fairy and the master they were talking about were the same person, and the high price offered by Donglan City was also sent to the exchange station here. It was Chi Chang-jai and Gu Yao who wanted to take it, and this person left right under their noses. Chi Chang-jai also found the reward posted at the entrance and exit of the exchange station at the moment of leaving the city, and offered a high price of 1 million immortal stones. Even if he provided clues, there was a reward of 100,000 immortal stones, but Chi Chang-jai didn't reply. If the cultivator in the exchange station knew that the person who just left was Chi Chang-jai in the bounty, maybe he would take the risk and try it for the millions of immortal stones. Donglan City. Xia Kunran asked, "Are you sure that the Zhang family and his party died in the hands of fellow Daoist Chi?" Leng Su nodded, "It should be, and the ancient alchemist has also been promoted to the Earth Immortal, but it is a pity that they went to Jiangzhong City, and it will not be so easy to find the ancient alchemist to make alchemy in the future." Although there was no news from the loose cultivators who witnessed the scene on the spot, the Zhang family held on to Gu Yao and Chi Chang-jai, and this time Chi Chang-jai did not deny it when he came back, so Leng Su was very for sure, what the Zhang family was biting at was true, and Zhang Das Hao and his party were all wiped out by Chi Chang-jai alone. At that time, it was Gu Yao, the elixir master, who transcended the calamity. Leng Su and Xia Kunran are also very shocked and envious of such a growth rate. However, it is also a good thing for these ascension monks. The news of Immortal Emperor Yuhang affected Piaoxiu Immortal Palace, but it seems that these four families are allowed to act even crazier. Leng Su turned around and sent the news to Su Chen. Su Chen had nothing on his face, but he was still holding his breath. When he saw the news, he felt relieved. Press the luck of others, whoever is unlucky will not be able to turn them. Zhang Zhongcheng, he definitely has a chance to go. Suddenly a wave of coercion came, the immortal energy surged violently, and the voice of the city lord Qiao immediately sounded in the city lord's mansion. "Start the protective formation, everyone is on alert, and protect the alchemist from the heaven and the immortal." Su Chen almost laughed, it was too timely, let's see what the four families will do this time. The whole city was sensational, and Dan Master Rui really broke through to be promoted to Heavenly Immortal, and their monks in Donglan City could one day witness the demeanor of Heavenly Immortal. However, this is not a good thing for the four major families, especially the Zhang family. The head of the Zhang family is so gloomy that ink can drip. The defense formation of the city lord's mansion is activated, and this formation is connected to the city protection formation. Once activated, the people inside will not be able to get out, and the people outside will not be able to get in. This heavenly immortal tribulation attracted the cultivators from all over the city to come out to watch, and they soon saw a figure flying to the highest mountain. Along with alchemist Rui's loud laughter, the heavenly tribulation slammed down, as if the entire Donglan was about to be destroyed. The city seems to be destroyed. Of course, Donglan City had been standing there until the cloud opened and the sun opened, and the whole city was sensational. They witnessed the birth of an immortal in Donglan City. When Chi Chang-jai got off the spaceship, he could hear the port of call here, and there were monks everywhere talking about Dan Master Rui becoming an immortal. Chi Chang-jai couldn't help raising his eyebrows. For him, this was really good news. Su Chen. Security has been added. As long as alchemist Rui really wanted to train an elixir master, it was impossible to miss Su Chen, and it was not an easy task to secure Su Chen in the hands of the four families. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 588. Qi Changjai was on the way to leave the exchange station and encountered a spaceship that was usually headed to Jiangzhongqing. Of course, he put away his Xianchuo and asked to get on the boat. Where would the ship owner push out when encountering such a guest? The same idea as the monks at the exchange station. Those who dare to walk alone in this starry sky are usually too strong to be offended. At this moment, Qi Changjai was walking and communicating with Gu Yao's spiritual sense, who was still in the space. He was equivalent to spending one person's boat to carry two people. In order to avoid twists and turns, Gu Yao, who came out of retreat, never showed up. There is an iron tower-shaped ornament hanging on Qi Changjai's waist, which is the current shape of Pill Pavilion, and Gu Yao watched the situation outside through this iron tower. This place is more prosperous than Donglan City, and the atmosphere is a little different. Qi Changjai nodded and said, the overall level of the monks in Jiangzhongqing is slightly higher than that of Donglan City. If nothing else, the city owner of this Jiangzhongqing is a master of the early days of the Immortal. The contradiction between the local monks and the ascending monks here is not as good as that of Donglan City. Protrude. As long as the ascended monks who can come here are at least in the early stage of Earth Immortal, and if they are outsiders, they can also have a place in Zhangzhong City. There are countless monks coming and going here, making Qi Changjai feel that this is the normal fairyland scene he knows. No matter how high the cultivation level of Zhangzhongqing is, there is only one city lord in the early stage of Heavenly Immortal, so the news of Dan Master Rui crossing the Heavenly Immortal Tribulation caused a sensation, and the impact of Dan Master Rui's success in crossing the tribulation was greater than that of other monks. Because he is an alchemist, or a heaven-level alchemist, if they can, they are willing to pay any price to treat alchemist Rui as their guest. However, in the entire Zhangzhong city, perhaps only the city owner has such courage and ability. Just as Qi Changjai was talking to Gu Yao and observing the situation of the monks around him, 3 immortal shuttles flew here, seeing that they were going out of the city. Get out of the way, someone cleared the roadblocks. Get out of the way, it's young Master Lin, young Master Fang, and Fairy Mo, they're immortal shuttles. They must be going out of the city to kill the group of blue wind pythons. With them around, this group of blue wind pythons can't no disaster will affect our Jiangzhongqing. The monks at the exit scattered with a bang, and the spaceships that were staying here quickly moved away, allowing the 3 immortals to pass smoothly. They passed through the sky and brought a strong tornado, and the 3 immortal shuttles flew away under the watchful eyes of the monks. I don't know which team killed the most Qingfeng pythons this time. It is estimated that many stalls in the city will start betting again. If you want me to say, Mr. Fang is the strongest. One-handed swordsmanship is not much worse than those of the sword immortals. The winner of this battle is Mr. Fang. In my opinion, this time, young Master Lin will be slightly better. Don't forget, young Master Lin is practicing wind-type exercises, and he has an advantage over other monks in dealing with this kind of blue wind python. But, from my point of view, Fairy Mo is the best. Young Master Lin and young Master Fang are all of our Fairy Mo's defeated soldiers. A female cultivator raised her head and said, and as soon as she spoke, the female cultivator beside her immediately echoed her support. The other male cultivators slipped away when they saw this posture. The female cultivators were too arrogant, and they couldn't afford to offend them. Who knew that Fairy Mo had a lot of fans in Zhangzhong City, and if they annoyed them, they would be beaten by the group. Gu Yao couldn't help laughing when he heard the sound outside. The atmosphere in Zhangzhong City was indeed much more pleasant than that in Donglan City. He would also be interested in seeing young Master Lin, young Master Fang and Fairy Mo. Have you seen the strength of these 3 people? Gu Yao asked Qi Changjai in the space. Qi Changjai smiled and replied, the three of them are all in the middle stage of Earth Immortal, and their strength is really good. Judging from this posture, it should not be the first time to act. One sword cultivator, the other cultivating the wind system, the third person is not clear, but judging from these superficial circumstances, it should not be weak. The two listened to other people's discussions. It turned out that recently, a group of blue wind pythons with not weak strength appeared on the important waterway outside the city. Whether it was a passing spaceship or a cultivator who went out to hunt, it caused great trouble, so a monk reported to the city lord's mansion, and the city lord's mansion issued a task in the mission hall, hoping that a monk would go out of the city and solve the group of blue wind pythons. As soon as this task was suspended in the task hall, the three genius monks scrambled to grab it, and immediately took people out of the city to do the task, so the three of them left the city almost at the same time. This blue wind python definitely didn't appear on the route they came over, because they didn't hear anyone talking about this star beast when they were on the spaceship, otherwise Chi-Changi would be interested in hunting and killing. The value of the blue wind python is very high big. So, Chi-Changi walked all the way, and all he heard was the talk about these three and alchemist Rui breaking through the gods. Disgust. Just near the port, Chi-Changi rented the Jiandong mansion. Thinking of the fate of the first two temporary caves, Chi-Changi hoped that the lease period would be at least full this time, otherwise it would be a waste of immortal stones. The cave formation was activated, and Guyao was finally able to come out of the space. Cub and Mou also ran out and had fun in the yard. Compared with the situation in the starry sky, where all kinds of crises were always guarded against, it was much more comfortable here. No need to be on guard all the time. Guess what I found in that big and young storage ring? Guyao sat next to Chi-Changi. After exiting the space, it was inconvenient to come out, so he sorted out the items in the storage ring. Changye just looked at it roughly, and returned the immortal stones. There was no time to sort out the clutter. That's what Guyao did. Chi-Changi thought for a while and then guessed, is it something related to the slave seal? Guyao nodded, flipped his hand and took out a box, opened it for Chi-Changi to see. The latter knew at a glance, this is the blood talisman used to cast the slave mark. They use this thing to stamp the monk with the slave mark and then control them? Although it was a question, Chi-Changi's tone was affirmative, because the blood talisman gave people an incomparably treacherous feeling at first glance, and it also had a sinister aura. That's right, it's this thing, this young master carries it with him, maybe he wants to use it to control us. Guyao didn't get angry, because this person was already dead, so he didn't care about a dead person. Guyao was right, young Master Zhang did have Guyao's thoughts, because he is an elixir master. If he can control an elixir master as his slave, the power of young Master Zhang will be greatly enhanced. The road to promotion after the slave seal is almost blocked, but the value of a human-level high-level alchemist is already great enough. Once the blood talisman is activated, the contract will be divided into two halves. One half will enter the controlled sea of cultivator's consciousness to be branded, and the other half will enter the controller's sea of consciousness. This half can be controlled by the controller and can determine the life and death of the controlled person. It can make slaves live rather than die. Can you solve it? Chi-Changi's eyes flashed with murderous intent, except for Zhang Dashao, he didn't want to let anyone go. This kind of rotten family should not exist. Guyao touched his chin and said, give me a while, and it should be able to be solved. You know, the cub has followed me to the promotion, and his abilities have been solved a little bit, including control. Guyao decided that these methods of the Zizaiwi must not be passed on. The four families of Donglan City created the slave mark with a single incomplete soul curse. Measured. Take your time, Chi-Changi said. They may not be able to return to Donglan City in a short time, so there is enough time. Well, this guy has a lot of things in his storage ring. No wonder he can afford so many beautiful concubines. Guyao thought of the things he sorted out and the number of immortal stones that Chi-Changi told him, and Sen became jealous. Thinking that when they first came, it took a lot of work to raise dozens of immortal stones. Chi Chang'ai laughed lightly, and the two of them were blowing the wind in the yard, sorting out the useful items in the pile of debris, and of course converting them into immortal stones as much as possible. The quality of Waxianchi purchased is higher, of course, I keep it for myself. In addition to the 5 elements immortal art, there is actually a thunder immortal art. Chi Chang'ai was thinking about whether or not to conceal his identity as a thunder sword cultivator. This thunder immortal art came just right, and when used in conjunction with the thunder attribute immortal artifact, he could display his attack power. Powerful immortal art, just happened to have a thunder attribute hammer in the pile of immortal weapons. Chi Chang'ai played with it in his hand, and used his own thunder immortal energy to make sacrifices. Although he did not have the purple thunder sword, he brought it hammer man or star beast, should also be very good. The pair of jade heart rings temporarily let Chi Chang'ai use it for Guyao, because now they have the best immortal artifact in their hands. But Chi Chang'ai and Guyao also wear one piece by hand, and it is also good to have an extra layer of protection. Those who were easy to reveal their identities but had little use value were burned down by the two of them. When I first learned about the arena, I knew that there were monks from Jiangzhongqing there, so it was not ruled out that the 4 families extended their hands into Jiangzhongqing, or cooperated with the forces here. The two rested for a while, and then went out shopping with a huge sum of more than 3 million immortal stones. Guyao had the urge to buy and buy. Before in Donglan City, even buying immortal grass was greatly restricted. Now he can open. Of this huge sum, the biggest contributor is naturally Zhang Das Hao, who is indeed lavish. A batch of elixir and sundries that they don't need to be disposed of, and they have made a profit of hundreds of thousands, which is amazing. They don't know that a large part of this huge sum comes from the arena. As for why Zhang Das Hao took the immortal stone from the arena and didn't turn it over, they can only ask himself, but now it is cheap Guyao and Chi Chang'ai. Guyao bought a lot of immortal grass without hesitation. Now that he has been promoted, his alchemy skills also need to be improved. If he wants to improve, he needs a large amount of immortal grass for him to practice. As soon as I came out of a fairy grass shop, I heard passers-by exclaim, "Look, young Master Lin and the others are back. I heard that someone was injured." What? That group of blue wind pythons can hurt young Master Lin and the others? It's impossible. Guyao and Chi Chang'ai looked at each other in amazement. They heard that the highest rank in Qingfeng was only the middle rank of the prefecture. If the strength of the 3 genius cultivators was not exaggerated, plus the help of the guards they brought, they took them down. No problem. Is there something wrong? You don't know. This time in distress, the leader of the group of blue wind pythons is a high-level land, and they will go crazy. I heard that if they didn't have the treasures given by their ancestors, this time is very difficult. Maybe they won't be able to come back. You didn't see that a late-stage Earth Immortal Elder from the Fang family left the city, and he must have received a distress call and went out to meet them. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 589. As they were talking, there was movement from the sky. Guyao and Chi Chang'ai looked up and saw that there was only one immortal shuttle galloping fast, but a lot of people could be seen on this immortal shuttle. There was a figure standing in front of Xianchuo, and many monks exclaimed that it was a late Earth Immortal Elder of the Fang family. Needless to say, this elder would go out to hunt and kill the young masters and young ladies of Yufeng Python and bring them back together. Xianchuo quickly flew across the sky. What Guyao and Chi Chang'ai didn't see was that the 3 genius monks who were arrogant when they left the city before, are now downcast. It's still a trivial matter to be rescued from injury. The incident must have caused a sensation in the whole city, and their faces were disgraced in front of the cultivators of the whole city. The third elder Fang rudely reprimanded Fang Kaiubai, a disciple of the Fang family. I knew all day long that Cheng could be in the limelight, but I didn't even know the actual situation, so I rushed up rashly. This time I was lucky and saved my life, but like this your luck doesn't come every time. Although they were their own disciples, young Master Lin and Miss Mo, who were staying in the Xianchuo together, couldn't raise their heads, because such criticism could also be used on them. To scold Fang Kaiubai was to scold them. They didn't. For example, Kaiubai is much better. Well, no one won this time, they all lost terribly. Now being scolded is light, but losing face in front of the cultivators in the city is a big deal. Now I don't know how many cultivators watch them having fun. After sending off the other two families and returning to Fang's house, the third elder Fang was going to confine Fang Kaiubai and think about it, but he was stopped by the patriarch, and the patriarch and other elders were also alarmed by the abnormality of the blue-winged python. Don't close it first, let's take a look at the situation. If it's just the abnormality of this group of blue-winged pythons, I'm worried that there will be other situations. Recently, more people in the clan have been sent to pay attention to the situation outside. A change represents a crisis, but a crisis is often accompanied by an opportunity. The quest hall of the city lord's mansion revised the quests related to the blue-winged python and raised the level of the leader of the blue-winged python. The high-level blue-winged python of the prefecture level is still alive. Limit close to heaven level strength. After hearing this, Guyao and Qi Changjai didn't take it seriously. At most, they felt that these three talented cultivators who were praised were impulsive, but they were much simpler than the family members in Donglan City. The two bought a lot of things and went back, and turned those immortal grasses into medicinal pills as much as possible. These medicinal pills were quietly dispersed into various stores, and did not attract many people's attention. The two of them had a very pleasant time when they came to disturb them. Mo Yanjao was also restricted from leaving the city recently. She was only slightly injured that day. After taking the healing medicine on the way back, she was almost healed. She couldn't leave the city. Wander around. Wandering around can also be fruitful. She actually bought a good quality prefecture level elixir in a shop, which is not worse than the elixir distributed by her family, and even better than the elixir refined by the elixir enshrined in the family. The last time I asked her to give the whole package, but a lot of them were distributed. No, she found this shop again. If she can dig the alchemist behind it into the Hui clan, she will be considered a meritorious service to the clan. It can alleviate the mistakes made this time. With this thought in mind, Mo Yanjao walked into the shop with a famous female guard. To say that there are very few shops in Jiangzhongqing who don't know this Miss Mo, and since they came here again, the shopkeeper immediately came out to receive her, and when Miss Mo came, the style of the small shop would be improved by a few grades. If Miss Mo needs anything, just tell me. Mo Yanjao glanced at it and asked, is there any more medicinal pills I bought last time? It turned out that he was looking at the medicinal pills that he had packed and bought last time. The shopkeeper asked the guy next to him and had to say, Miss Mo, those medicinal pills were bought from a cultivator. Recently this cultivator has not reappeared. If anyone comes again, I will definitely help Miss Mo to pay attention. Mo Yanjao raised her chin slightly. Next time this person comes back, tell him how many earth-level elixir they have in their hands, and this girl will pack them all. Okay, I will definitely do as Miss Mo ordered. Mo Yanjao took the guard and turned around and walked out. Looking up at the pedestrians outside, Mo Yanjao was a little discouraged. Is it possible that this business can only be done once, and if you look for it again, no one will be seen? She still wanted to make atonement for this incident. Let's go to other stores. Mo Yanjao waved and called the guard. Miss, maybe it's just an unintentional medicine pill, which is exchanged for immortal stones. Earth-level elixir masters are also limited in our Zhangzhou city. Where can the elixir they refine be sold in such a store? The female guard advised. Mo Yanjao understands the truth, but she has her own selfishness, so she continues to look for other stores. Maybe she will be lucky. Walking into a shop across the street, Mo Yanjao directly asked if there was a prefecture-level elixir. Coincidentally, the man immediately recommended the prefecture-level elixir in the store to her. Mo Yanjao opened the jade bottle, and her eyes suddenly lit up. Just like the one she bought last time, she hurriedly asked, "Who sent the medicine pill? How many medicine pills did this person send? I want how many? The big business is coming." The guy called the shopkeeper and made this business, but he didn't have a very clear memory of the cultivator who sent the medicine pill, and it's been a while since the medicine pill was delivered. The medicine pill is not well known, so it has not been sold for a while. After seeing off Miss Mo, the shopkeeper immediately told the guy, "Take care of people, as long as anyone who brings medicine pills comes, immediately notify me and let me negotiate, that is Miss Mo, if we can get in touch with the Mo family, then we will." It really did. Mo Yanjao, who had left, was like coming back to life again, and his whole person was full of vitality. "Find someone immediately and expand the search scope for me. I want to see the elixir master behind this and how many shops are selling his elixir." Even if the female guard thought it was a coincidence, but the lady had an order, how could she not obey? So she sent a message back, called a group of people out, and did as Mo Yanjao said. As a result, this search really caused Mo Yanjao to make a mistake and found a surprising result. In just 2 months, it is estimated that 3 or 4 elixir masters were supporting the pills sold by the alchemist behind it. Is it possible to say that someone has specially raised a batch of elixir masters? Moreover, many medicinal pills have been sold, and there are many repeat customers. It can be seen that the medicinal effect is very good, but it is not easy to buy it again. This situation proves that the elixir masters behind it clearly deliberately spread out to sell medicine pills, for fear of others finding the source. Fang Qiubai was not locked up, but confined to his feet. The scope of his activities was limited to Fang's house. He was very active and felt that his body was about to grow hair. As for the injury he suffered, he was treated the same as him. He was happy, but why is the girl surnamed Mo swaying around? What's that girl doing recently? That dead girl didn't even say that she came to see me. It's useless for me to push her away. When the blue-winged python became mad, a white-eyed wolf with no conscience, Fang Qiubai angrily. "Young master, I know," Fang Qiubai's entourage replied. It was really too obvious that Mo Yanjao asked most people to search the store everywhere, and many people were curious about what she was doing. Miss Mo was investigating recently. The monks who sold a lot of elixir have not been able to find anyone so far, and the people who sold the elixir behind their backs actually stopped. Fang Qiubai laughed out of schadenfreude. "It's great, so she can't find it. Anyway, Mo Yanjao is not happy, but what's the matter with this medicine pill?" Her Mo family sees the medicine pill sold outside. The entourage was amused by the reaction of his young master, and replied, "It is said that the quality of those pills is very good. After a loose cultivator bought it and took it, he wanted to go back and buy it again, but now he can't buy it either. Many people outside are betting, this batch of elixir was refined by several elixir masters. In fact, if it wasn't for Miss Mo's actions, those scattered cultivators would have no idea that the people behind them were selling so many elixir. A sum." Fang Qiubai rolled his eyes and said, "You also let someone check it in private, but the girl can't find it, so let me find it then, hey." "Okay young master, I'll let someone check." Fang Qiubai knew it, and so did the young master of the Lin family. Guyao and Qi Changjai thought they would have no chance to meet these 3 genius monks, but they didn't expect fate to be so peculiar that they were connected in an unexpected way. After taking out the batch of medicinal pills, Chi-Chang-Jai felt that the amount was not too small. No matter how big Zhang Zhongcheng was, if he took it frequently, it would attract the attention of others, so he stopped. Of course, there is another reason, that is, with the continuous practice, the quality of the medicinal pills released by Guyao has been continuously improved, and those top-grade pills have been thrown into the space to transform the immortal energy. The alchemy technique has been improved, and the research on the slave seal has also gained attention. What is needed now is to answer the certificate, which can only be achieved by returning to Donglan City, so the two came out for a walk, and this time I heard a lot of people talking about it. Miss Mo's movement. If it was another person, it might not have attracted the attention of so many monks, but who made these three famous people, and Miss Mo did not restrain her actions, the public was of course curious. The two listened for a while and looked at each other with surprise in their eyes. Guyao touched his face. It wasn't because he was being affectionate. He was very confident in his alchemy skills. The person she's looking for is probably me. Those people guessed that there were several alchemists practicing behind the scenes. Is he the only one who makes pills? Chi-Chang-Jai nodded affirmatively. It's you, because of the several shops they mentioned, I've sent pills in the past. It seems that if I sell pills in the future, I can't sell them in this area. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 590. Anyway, without exposing themselves, Guyao and Chi-Chang-Jai turned around and left the matter behind. After so long, the two decided to go to the mission hall to see and move their muscles and bones. The various missions in the mission hall can still provide important clues for the monks. For example, if the blue wind python did not appear in the mission hall, it is estimated that many monks did not know that they appeared, or were near the waterway. Thinking of the blue wind python, the two of them wondered if the Yufeng python of the prefectural level had been dealt with. As soon as the two came to the mission hall, they found that the monks here were in high spirits. With so many people crowding in the spacious hall of the mission hall, Xian Xiao's voice could break through the eardrums. The two thought this was a normal state, but as soon as they walked in and heard the heated discussions, it all showed that the current situation was abnormal. Guyao simply stopped and asked a few small gangs next to him, "This fellow deist, what happened recently? It seems to be very lively here." The cultivator saw the two newcomers and told them the truth very enthusiastically. "You don't know, didn't a group of blue wind pythons appear before, but this blue wind python has just been dealt with. I didn't expect that area to appear one after another." High-level star beasts, there are several related tasks released in the task hall. If you have the strength to form a team to hunt and kill, you will definitely make a lot of money. You must know that star beasts of this level usually do not appear so close. The farther away means the greater the danger, so now to hunt these star beasts, the risk is relatively much smaller, which is a good opportunity to make a fortune for many loose cultivators. Actually, everyone is talking about these star beasts that suddenly appeared. In addition to wanting to hunt and kill them, they are also speculating about the reasons for their appearance. Some people say that there is something wrong with the starry sky where they originally lived, and they have to escape. Guessing, maybe there will be some ruins there, and there are already monks who plan to team up to explore. Some people saw that these two cultivation bases were in the early stage of Earth Immortal, and came over. "Two fellow deists, why don't you join our team? We took up the task of hunting the blood-crowned eagle, and there are 2 Earth Immortals in our team. In the midterm, this task can definitely be completed. Take it down. There are still Immortals in your team. Don't let him fool you." 2 fellow Taoists. "We are all Earth Immortals in our team. It is safer to join our team. Do you want to explore the ruins? We are about to set off soon, join us. If there is a chance to enter the ruins, the Immortals will not be a problem," someone actually shouted, and this shout made people laugh. "Even if there were really ruins, after entering, can you become a fairy godmother? What does this take as a fairy godmother? but there are people who are interested, and there are still a lot of people who have joined. It seems that the more people do, the more people explore, the more security will be guaranteed. Although Guyao and Chi Changjai figured out what was going on, they didn't have much interest in forming a team to explore the ruins, so they just stood by and watched. In the end, more than 30 people shouted out of the mission hall. Not too small. The two also refused to win over other teams, and the two were more willing to act alone. They carefully looked at the taskbar scrolling on the Jade Bai, and sure enough, they saw 7 or 8 related tasks, recorded these tasks, and bought some data maps in the task hall before turning around and leaving. If there are relics, they don't mind following the trend, but they don't want to be the first wave of Pathfinder stones, so let's wait until the situation becomes clearer. After making full preparations, the two went out of the city like the other teams. After analysis, they chose a hunting mission that was farther away, so that conflicts with other teams would be minimized. When the two of them set off, Fang, Lin, and Mo also brought 2 guards each, and they also participated in the hunting ranks. In response to the crisis that occurred when dealing with the blue wind python, the 3 of them became a little more stable. This time, the 3 also used the same Xianchuo, and it was not someone else who initiated the action, but Fang Kaiubai. Fang Kaiubai looked at Mo Yanjao and asked, "The alchemist you are looking for hasn't gone down yet?" "It's not because the batch of medicinal pills came from a wrong way, so you can only do small things, otherwise, with your reputation as the eldest Mo family, you won't be able to do so. Enough to get the people behind to show up for help." The 3 of them are not weak in the city. Although there is no immortal, the city owner still relies heavily on these 3 families. Therefore, if they have the opportunity to join the Mo family, I believe that many loose cultivators are very willing. Mo Yanjao glared at Fang Kaiubai, which one could not be opened, but mentioned which one. "I didn't find it, who knows who hit his head and shrank his tail. If he is caught by this girl, he will not be able to spare him." Originally wanted to make merit and atonement, but who would have thought that there would be no gain in vain. That little medicinal pill has not been taken into account by the Mo family, and it has also made the peers laugh twice. The first one is of course hunting green python in action. It failed, but Mo Yanjao was angry. Lin Feng has the most noble and elegant demeanor, and has a good-looking demeanor. He promised Fang Kaiubai to act together this time, in order to restore the image that he had failed before. "Let's stop arguing. No one can do anything wrong this time. We must grab the Zeun Eagles before the other teams. For this mission, this young master has made a lot of money, and I will cover the sky with the second uncle's net. I borrowed them all, and I only borrowed time for this period of time, but I mortgaged a lot of immortal stones. This sky-covering net is a middle-grade ferry." Fang Kaiubai patted his chest and said, "Don't worry, the 3 of us will cooperate well this time. Who is not our defeated general in Zhangzhongcheng? Among the children of the same generation, they are definitely the best group, although they usually fight for tat and compete with each other, but at critical moments, they were able to fight together." "Understood. I don't believe that I can't deal with a group of purple cloud eagles this time, but I can catch a few alive and bring them back to tame their own mounts," Mo Yanjao also replied. Guyao and Chi Changjai carefully controlled Xianchuo to drive in the starry sky. They were not familiar with this area and needed to be vigilant. On the way, I saw several teams from far away, but before they could meet each other, the opponent's Xianchuo flew away in a swish. I might have become a companion in the mission hall before, but here, everyone is a competitor. Avoiding several dangerous areas, they gradually approached one of the places marked on the map where the purple cloud eagle might appear. Because the speed of the purple cloud sculpture is extremely fast, the location where it was discovered is not fixed, and it may not appear in the locations provided by the mission hall at all, so the cultivator needs to find it by himself. The reason why the purple cloud eagles get their name is because they often like to shuttle in the nebula. Guyao and Chi Changjai searched for a long time to find their traces. Two of them flew around in a thick nebula. Occasionally they were discovered by the two when they flew out of the nebula. The two did not act immediately, because the area of the nebula was very large, and apart from the two active ones, it was completely impossible to see how many there were in it. There was no team nearby, so the two decided to wait and see for a while. He asked Mou to cover the Xianchuo with mist. At first glance, he thought it was a small cluster of nebulae. Guyao, who was staying in the Xingchuo, looked at the two purple cloud sculptures and said, "What a beautiful creature, no wonder there are the monks specialize in capturing and selling live purple cloud carvings, and a prefecture-level purple cloud carving will cost at least hundreds of thousands of immortal stones to start. Taming a purple cloud beast as a mount, flying in the starry sky is much safer than staying in a fairy shuttle, because the purple cloud beast will automatically form a space on its back, which is not affected by the outside environment, and it lives in the starry sky. Star beasts are better able to adapt to the environment here than monks, and to warn of crises in advance." After waiting for a long time, I found that there were still only two Xiun eagles playing. Chi Changjai left Xianchuo and went to test it out. The speed and combat power of the two were better than Chi Changjai. If there are more than two, then lead them out to deal with them separately, while Guyao prepares traps in hidden locations. Be careful. Guyao's voice transmission warned that the level of the two purple cloud carvings is only at the middle level of the prefecture level. There is no guarantee that there will be no higher level ones. The task of the task hall, the level of the purple cloud carving is also unknown. Definitely above the prefecture level. Chi Changjai played his role as a thunder cultivator very thoroughly. When he flew close enough, he took out the hammer and led a thunder snake to slash at one of the purple cloud eagles. "Hey!" Xiandio screamed sharply, his fierce eyes glared at the sneak attacker. "This creature is beautiful, but when it glared over, it could definitely see its ferocity in its eyes." The two purple cloud eagles stopped playing and rushed towards Chi Changjai together. Fang Kaiubai and the three of them were looking around for the Xiandio and found nothing when they suddenly heard a sharp cry in front of them, and they immediately showed joy. "It's the Xiandio's cry, hurry up, fly in the direction from which the call came from. Go, don't let the other teams get ahead, hurry up." Xianchuo speeded up and quickly crossed the starry sky, getting closer and closer to the chirping sound. When the distance was close enough to see the situation in front of them, the faces of Fang Kaiubai's three people changed, and Fang Kaiubai jumped up first. "Damn, where is the who dares to the purple cloud sculpture from us?" Lin Feng was also unhappy. He had to rely on this purple cloud sculpture to restore his image, but after the last time he became more stable. He grabbed Fang Kaiubai, who was about to fly out, and said, "Wait a while, don't you? Do you think it's too weird for a cultivator to deal with two purple cloud eagles in this starry sky? Don't have another burial." When he said this, Fang Kaiubai and Mo Yanjiao also calmed down, and they saw a monk waving a hammer to the sky, causing a thunderstorm to fight in the middle of two purple cloud carvings. This monk was clearly a genius. At the initial stage of cultivation, he was able to remain undefeated among the two middle-level purple cloud eagles at the prefecture level. In this double-sized starry sky, except for them and this monk, no one else can be seen. This is the strangest thing. Could it be that this monk has accomplices in ambush in a position they don't know? Guyao was not in a hurry to shoot, because Chi Changjai also transmitted his voice to him. As long as no other Xiun carved out, these two. Let him deal with it. Unexpectedly, a fairy shuttle flew from behind. Needless to say, it was also aimed at Xiun's sculpture. If Guyao knew what they were thinking, he would definitely say that something was wrong. This trap was not prepared for them at all.